Hi everyone, I'm Matt from Midwest PPG. We had a really good response on the video we did a couple weeks ago about body position on launch, and a few people asked if we would do something about landing. So we thought we'd put a video together, and we want to tell you like the three most important things to us that determines whether your landing is going to be soft and easy and successful, or hard on your feet, or tripping over.
So my first landings were mostly like a crapshoot. Every time coming in, I was I never really knew what I was going to get. Sometimes they were on my feet, sometimes they were jarring on my knees, sometimes skidding on my butt. I wasn't really sure exactly what I was going to get.
Before I describe to you the three biggest things I see new pilots doing wrong on their landings, let me describe the technique that I'll be using when I look at this. Not everybody's landing with the same technique. So when we bring students in for a landing, it's kind of three-phased. There's the approach phase where you're descending down into the field. There's a level off phase where you're bleeding speed off of the glider and kind of being patient in that phase, and then the flare phase. So it's kind of a three-phase process. First mistake I see is on your approach. If you're riding the brakes, if you're putting any brake pressure in at all on your glider, on your approach, you're stealing authority and power out of your flare. So below a certain level, 20, 30 feet, depending on your skill, let the glider go. Let it be fast as you approach the ground. Don't ride your brakes.
I bet I was probably in the pressure pre-landing most of the time, flying with 3 or 4 inches of pressure in my brakes, slowing it down. Probably starting at 50 feet up, I must have been in my pressure. By the time I got to the ground, I had nothing but mush left.
The next problem I see is people's posture in the harness when they're coming into land. Generally, people who are not making their landings on their feet are leaning back. They're laying their back against the harness, and you end up with this awkward feet forward, laid back position. It's really odd looking. So I like to see people lean forward in their chest straps, try to touch their carabiners with their shoulder muscles, and put an air gap between your back and the frame. And that'll do a really good job of getting your feet underneath you and not feeling like you're lounging out. Finally, a real problem I see quite commonly is the amount of pressure and the direction of the pressure of people's final flare when they're pushing the brakes all the way down to fully extended arms. Very frequently I see people missing 6 or 8 inches of flare, and that makes a huge difference on your landing. Also, I see people with locked out elbows. When you go to flare and your elbows are locked out, you won't be able to drive your hands as far down enough to execute a really good flare. So the last big thing is drive your hands down. Make sure you're fully extending your flare before your feet get to the ground. Otherwise, you're going to land hard.
Nice landing, turn. Wonderful job.
So the most important thing about the final flare that I wish I would have known back then was to bury all the way. Right when I slow down and I'm about to take that last final dip, is all the way down, push them all the way down, and reach for your feet with the ground, reach for it and take steps. When I was new, landing was something I wasn't sure about. I was nervous every time I came in for a landing. Now I look forward to every landing. It's one of the funnest parts of my flight.
I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything that you guys would like to see us do a video on, let us know, put it down in the comments, and we'll see what we can do.